Hi guys, welcome. I'm SimUK and this is my review on Planet Zoo. Today I'm going to do something that I never thought I was going to do. I'm going to heartily recommend a game which actually has more negative points than positive points. Why are you doing this, you might ask me? Why are you doing this to us? We come to you to get honest feedback on games to let us know whether we should buy them or not. Well, I'll tell you why. It's because the good bits are so good that they actually significantly outweigh all of the bad things. This is Planet Zoo. It's basically the love child of Planet Coaster and Jurassic World Evolution, but enhanced. The game can be played in 4 flavours: career, challenge, franchise, and sandbox mode. Now, some people already are complaining that franchise is too hard. I'll be totally honest with you, I'm finding it too easy. Once you figure out that spending time on your first 3 or 4 enclosures is all you really need to do in order to get a constant supply of cash rolling in, then the rest is just progressive and unrestricted. The restriction of items in franchise mode for some is a bit frustrating, but again, if you focus on a single enclosure at a time, and breeding and releasing, then it's a simple and progressively speedy system which is quite easy to manage and expand upon. Obviously, if you don't like that kind of restriction, if you don't like the challenge, then you've got sandbox mode, which just allows unlimited creativity. So I really don't see the problem here. These are people who want to move too quickly. And if anything, I think the game moves too quickly already, but I'll discuss that a bit more later on. This is not the most intuitive UI that I have ever seen. Some parts are very well done, other parts are not so well done, and some parts are downright ridiculous. Basically, there is so much detail here that it's simply overwhelming at first, and that really doesn't help matters at all. Once you get into the game though, it does all kind of make sense. But there are still some areas where the UI definitely would benefit from adjustment. Let me just focus on the cons that I've discovered since I've been playing, and I've been playing through the beta and since release, and I'm on the vast majority of areas, I'm enjoying the game, but there are some issues, and it's my job to tell you about them. So, Planet Zoo is vast, and I do mean vast. I mean, gargantuan. It's enormous. It has a plethora of intimate details and resources that are almost finite. As such, there's a huge amount of data that needs to be filtered, researched, and absorbed by you, the player. Now, in complete contrast to that, you have the character creation, which is the first thing you need to do in the game, and it is so unbelievably limited, it just seems pointless. I think the comment they make at the beginning is, make sure you create your character that looks like you so other people can find you. Well, you can't, because there's only 5 heads and you're either fat or thin. I mean, the whole point of that is to identify yourself to your friends, and to be honest with you, the whole thing is just so completely limited, it just seems completely pointless. That aside, this game, as I'm sure you know, is visually stunning, and it's as deep as an ocean in some areas. For realistic management, however, it's a little bit shallow and a little bit muddy. To be honest with you, I don't care at all about the people visiting my zoo, and the game actually seems absolutely okay with that. For example, the vendor stalls have some micromanagement, but really it's not enough, and it's done in such a way that I really struggle to care what I'm selling, what colour the balloons are. I really don't care at all, and the game doesn't seem to care either. It's interesting that the animals themselves have unique personalities, yet your customers are just really quite very, very basic, to be perfectly honest with you. As I've mentioned, some of the menu systems need adjusting. Basically, there's so much data here that they just turn into these super long scroll bars. It would be better, I think, if the stats that you're trying to adjust remained visible at the top of the scroll bar whilst you scroll down, but unfortunately they disappear off up the screen, so you can't actually see what adjustments you're making or the implications of the adjustments you're making. which is a bit of a frustration. Honestly, I think they're trying to cram too much data into a very small scrollable window. I don't really see what the problem would be if it just opened up a big, almost full screen window, much bigger. All the data and information could be displayed much better. It would be easier to read. I think the whole thing would take less time. But they're trying to keep the visuals going in the background whilst the menu is open on the side. And they're trying to cram too much information into too small a menu. That's my personal opinion. I've mentioned already the game time, and I think the whole game just progresses too quickly. Which is in complete contrast to some people who say the game progresses too slow. I suppose technically they are two different things. What I'm referring to more than anything else is that animal states seem to transition way too quickly. An animal in a perfect enclosure with everything they need will transition from A-OK to stressed in about 30 seconds. And quite often I've discovered it's because they seek seclusion. They want to get away from the public eye. So they really get stressed out really quickly. And you jump in and you're trying to figure out what's wrong. What is it you need? Why are you so stressed out? Why don't you just go to this area that I've built for you where you can be secluded when you want to be? And basically it's because it takes them too long to get from where they are to where the secluded area is, and their stress levels peak. But within 30 seconds of being in there, less than that, they're back to 100% A-OK. So I think the whole transition thing is just too fast. It becomes completely unrealistic. And the reason it happens that quickly is because the daytime, or the speed of an entire day, a 24-hour period, is just progressing way too fast in this game. So everything just gets amped up. Now, maybe you get used to that. I don't know. I mean, the only way you would really get used to something like that is to completely ignore it. If an animal gets completely stressed out because they're 15 feet away from an area where they can hide themselves if they want to, then it just kind of nullifies the whole point of what it's doing there. It's disappointing that an animal could get 100% stressed and then 100% A-OK in less than a minute. It's too much, it's too fast. That's my personal opinion. I've also noticed, and I'm not really keen on this, I've never really been keen on the fact that animals get boxed up. And what's worse than boxing? So if, for example, a piece of wall falls down and all your animals are escaping, you can click on the enclosure and box up all the animals, and that stops them all from escaping. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest. I'd rather the vets have to come in and box them up. That I'd be okay with, but to just click on it and they all turn into boxes, I think is a bit crap. In addition to that, or worse than that, is if an animal is too stressed or too hungry or too upset, they'll box themselves up, which is a bit weird, and I'm absolutely not a fan of that either. Now, this is a personal thing. I don't know if everyone's going to agree with me on this or not, but if the wall breaks down and some of your animals escape, they don't attack people, which I find really quite disappointing, bearing in mind in Jurassic Park that is exactly what happened. So I don't see why they've eliminated that as a possibility. I suppose it's because they're not individual people, they're clumps of people. I don't know if you've noticed that, and I suspect that's what the problem is. But, I mean, even if they don't attack people, people don't react to the escaped animals very well. Often they don't even care, they just walk straight through, a rhino or whatever. They don't seem to bother with it at all. I think that whole part of it could be done much, much better, in all honesty. Now, franchise mode is a mode where you are encouraged to build a variety of different zoos all over the world. And a franchise, it's a part of the same business, but it's a franchise. It's a side part of the same business. That's how it's meant to be. But the game doesn't really sort of manage that particularly well. Arguably, it is a franchise. It's a related yet secluded, unrelated part of your current business. But I understand possibly that money cannot be transferred from one zoo to the other, even though animals can. But what really bothers me is that the research you do in a zoo doesn't seem to follow over into the next zoo either. Now, that doesn't seem to me to be a franchise, because a franchise is a copy-paste of what you've got. So, you've spent 20 years building this zoo and you've learnt a lot of lessons, and somebody says, oh, I'd like to open a franchise of your zoo, and you say, yeah, sure, but we're not going to help you at all. We're not going to tell you any of the lessons we've learnt. We're not going to share any of the knowledge we have. You can just start again from fresh. That's ridiculous. Now, this game is just released, so take this with a pinch of salt, but there are a lot of bugs. Now, this game is off the charts in terms of unique, amazing. It's an amazing game. There's so much going on here that you can understand why there are bugs, but there are a lot of bugs. I've seen people dropping from the sky. I've seen animals going through pieces of wood. I've seen them flying out of roofs. I've seen an unbelievable number of things. I've seen animals behaving and escaping in the most unbelievable, unrealistic of ways, and then they suddenly return. So you're getting an alert saying, a dangerous animal has escaped, and you're going, oh my god, let's go deal with that as quick as possible. Not that anybody cares because of what I've already mentioned, but you'll get there and he's already back in the enclosure. He hasn't been put there by a member of staff or anything. He's just glitched out and then glitched back in. So, I mean, there's a lot of bugs like that. Keepers, they're getting stuck on these invisible walls, which means they can't get to the enclosures, which means they can't give them water, food, they can't do anything. So all your animals will die. It seems if you restart the game, that does fix that. Sometimes you can fix it by rebuilding the paths, but overall it's just it's a frustration. I don't know what's causing that, and that's definitely a bug that needs to be addressed. And animals not being fed correctly. Now, as you learn about, as you research an animal, you can increase the quality of the food that they're being given. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that is what most people are experiencing, as if you put a pallet out for animals, it seems that nobody puts any food on it. They'll stand there, they'll look at the pallet, they might even put a small amount of food on there, but they won't fill the pallet with food. Now, I'm not sure if that's a research-related issue or whether it is a bug. I'm undecided on that, to be honest with you, but certainly people are experiencing problems with that. Worse than that, there are some significant stability issues and FPS issues. It's not well optimized. I've got a very decent PC, and I'm struggling to hit 40, 45 FPS on maximum ultra settings. I think it should be, it really ought to be around 60 FPS. I don't think we're ever going to get there. I really don't. I just think there's so much going on. You can see that the game is struggling quite often when you're moving the camera around and transitioning from one area to another. You can see that the game is sort of buckling at the edges, and people have lost game saves, and the game crashes quite, not regularly, but you know, it can happen at any time. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. So, I mean, stability issues and FPS issues certainly are a problem right now. Not significant, as I say, because it's not consistently happening, but you are going to notice it. And when it hits you, you know, you could lose 6, 7, 8 hours worth of a game save. It's quite a significant problem when it does happen, so it's worth mentioning. The camera movement is, in my humble opinion, clunky. It's unforgiving. I don't like the way the camera transitions, and the camera, there's an advanced camera option in the menu system, but to be honest with you, I haven't noticed any different at all from the basic one. I think the camera is just, it gets stuck on things too easily. It doesn't move the way you expect it to. And also when you scroll into something, quite often it will, after you've stopped scrolling, it will continue scrolling a little bit more, which means you're not in the right position. And again, I think that's down to the FPS issues and the stability issues of the game. It definitely needs optimizing. It's the camera is struggling because of those other issues. I think that's the main problem. And they did confirm an offline franchise mode. Now, I'm not entirely sure that that's been implemented. I'm sure it will come in time, but right now it doesn't look like it's active. There was a massive update that came in last night whilst I was writing this review, and I haven't had a chance to log in and have a look this morning, so I don't know whether that's been implemented. I didn't see it in the notes. What I did see in the notes was a whole long list of, when you do this, the game crashes. 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 So they fixed a lot of game crash issues, so hopefully that some way will go towards fixing the stability issues that there are right now. So why am I even recommending this game? Because it sounds bloody awful, doesn't it? Well, it's a game where you can really build your own zoo. Your own imagination can be realized in this game. You can breed animals, you can release them back into the wild with conservation. We've got the Welsh Nancy Jones who guides you through this rather extensive learning curve that comes with Planet Zoo. It's stunning. This game is stunning. The animal modeling and individual animal behavior is just off the charts good. You can see where all of the majority of the attention and work has gone, and it really pays off. And of course, you know, it's not just a fun game, it's an educational game. It will give you conservational insights. There's a really extensive encyclopedia, like, you know, 50,000 words of an encyclopedia. This is a lot of information. And obviously, same as it was in Planet Coaster, you've got almost limitless creativity options, and the community creations that are out already are just amazing. You can build anything you want in this game. It's so modular, it's so clever. That's its really unique selling point. The animals are fantastic, and the building opportunities, the modelling and the terrain editors, just off the charts good. I mean, oh my god. In the video that you're watching now, you can see it. I'm just messing it. I mean, I'm by no means good at this game. I've seen some people create some incredible things, but even a complete noob like me can create something really quite spectacular. And, you know, the more I play it, hopefully the better I'll get. But I'm just enjoying creating something amazing. And that's what this game really delivers on. The sound design in this game is astounding, and it's so accurate. Each individual animal seems to have their own sound files that just match that animal almost to perfection. The art design, the lighting, this whole game is just sublime. And I'm sure 6 months from now, the long list of issues that I'm having with this game will have been thinned out and reduced. And as that happens, the beauty and the real amazing elements that this game offers will start to emerge and become the greater part of what this game is. It's just so big. It's just so much detail, so much information, that it's you kind of expect a lot of these problems to be here. We're going to have DLCs. I mean, we know we're going to have DLCs. They're going to be ridiculously expensive. It's going to annoy everybody, but it's going to be extremely high quality as well. So you're going to have to kind of balance that. You know, do you enjoy it enough in order to pay £10 for dolphins? I don't know. Maybe. I'd be tempted. I have to be honest. If they brought dolphins into the game, or penguins, I'd be tempted. Really, seriously, genuinely tempted, because it's just so good. And that's the point of this game, is even though it's a buggy, frustrating, management shy, disgraceful annoyance, it's one of the best games I think I've ever played. I've never been so excited for a game as I am for this one. I just love it. I think it's just, I'd love to be more creative, and this is a game that can help me be more creative. And I think that's the thing, the key. My daughter is incredibly artistic and really, really creative, but she's a little bit too young to be able to manage the intricacies of this game and to deal with all the problems that this game produce. But one day, when a couple of years from now, she is going to pick up this game and she is just going to go crazy with it. She's going to make the most amazing things in the world, and I can't wait to see what she can create, and I can't wait to see what I can create. This game is beautiful, stunning, and incredibly impressive in so many ways. So yes, there are problems. Yes, the management system is shy at best. The customers who come to your zoo are just basically just going to throw money at you. It's almost, as long as you don't rush the beginning, it's almost impossible to fail. It's too easy, in my humble opinion, in many ways, and yet it's still quite complex and complicated and awkward. But A lot of that is down to the speed at which the game progresses. It transitions from day 1 to day 2 far too quickly, in my humble opinion, and it kind of gives mixed information. But there you go. Hopefully this review has been helpful for you, and I've got a lot of videos that I'm going to be putting up over the next couple of weeks and months. So if you would like to watch a chilled out, honest, and when I say honest, I mean when I play a campaign level for the first time, it really is the first time, so I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not one of these YouTubers who've played that level already and then pretend that I haven't. I just play it genuinely, which is, you know, I think going to show you exactly what you can experience in the game, rather than pretending that I'm really good at it, which I'm not. But this is a great game. I love it to bits. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you've bought this game, do you like it? Do you think it's good? Do you hate it? What do you hate? What do you like? I mean, I'm pretty sure you're going to come to a similar, if not the same conclusion that I have, that this game is absolutely epic, yet it has a few problems. There are a few things that need to be ironed out, and hopefully over the next couple of months it will be. That's enough prattling from me. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves till next time. Goodbye.